Hello guys, Wizard here, bringing you another Total War Warhammer 2 unit testing. Today we're testing a unit from Lizardmen roster, specifically Ancient Salamander, which is a monster unit with mainly range attacks. This unit testing video is like my previous ones. I'm gonna talk about unit stats, then unit testings that I have done. Then I'm gonna compare Ancient Salamander to the most similar unit, and after that the conclusion of my test, and at the end I'm gonna suggest some changes or some playstyles that might help this unit be more cost efficient and more competitive. So first of all, let's talk about unit stats. This unit, as I said before, is a range monster, a mobile artillery, which has great armor, good leadership, great speed, decent melee stats, okay charge bonus, good range, and good missile strength, which has access to a flammable debuff, which increases the fire damage the units take, 15% missile resistance, fear, and terror. So now let's talk about the unit testings that I have done. First of all, this unit range attack is devastating against tightly packed infantry units. Low armor or high armor, they both get destroyed if Salamander is able to shoot them. And besides the flaming attack that it does, it can shoot over infantry and even monster infantry like Kroxigor easily. As you guys see here, it doesn't matter how close it is to the friendly units, it does not get obstructed, and the range attack has a really great arc of fire. Because of that, the range attack can be used not when loose information infantry get close to your front line. You just have to let them get engaged with your units and then just start to shoot at them. And that is because loose formation units, both armored and low armored, have some protection against its range attack. It still does good damage, but in my opinion it's not worth it to just sit and shoot them all the game. Like here, I'm against White Lions. As you guys know, they have really high armor and loose formation. And if you compare this clip with the previous ones, you'll see that Salamander's range attack doesn't do too much damage to this unit. White Lions are avoiding a lot of the damage. Against medium to high armor infantry, when they have tight formation, it still does great. It still devastates them. So the more costly the infantry your opponent brings, the better Salamander pay for its cost. This footage I'm bringing Salamander against Phoenix Guard, one of the tankiest infantry around with highest armor and physical resistance. But Salamander, with not even half of its ammo, is able to destroy this expensive elite unit, which is what it's supposed to do and how it should be played as. Against cavalry, its range attack does damage, but the projectile is not fast enough that it cannot be dodged by fast units, and the damage is not at all that great. I mean, seeing here, it's apparent that it's not a cost-effective way to use the Salamander. You shouldn't just sit back and try to challenge the range cavalry or any cavalry for that matter with Salamander. But in the next clip, you'll see that there is a way to make Salamander's range attack do great amount of damage to cavalry units, light or heavy. So here in this clip, the Empire Knights are charging the Sphinx, and as it is apparent, Skinks cannot do much against Empire Knights, but when they charge, the cavalry units blob up like here, and you can use AoE explosions damage to do good amount of damage to them. The damage that these Empire Knights have received is all because of the Salamander's range attack, because Skinks can do that much damage to them. So yeah, that's a trick you can use. And because of the high speed that Salamander has, you're able to dodge high angle range attacks, which is a good thing to know. As you guys are seeing in this clip, I'm not really far away from these units, but still able to dodge most of the shots, which is the thing you should always do. You should always try to juke and dodge the arrows when you're getting shot at with a high mobility unit like this. But against handgunners and fast projectiles, dodging is not possible, so keep that in mind when you're playing this kind of unit. Against single entity and single entity monsters, the range attack does good damage. The problem is being able to hit your target, because the projectile's speed is not that high, so dodging them is easy. But when you're actually are able to connect with your range attack, it does good damage, and the debuff always helps. In melee, this unit performs okay. Actually, sometimes it's preferable to just charge with this unit, but staying in sustained combat especially against infantry, I don't recommend it, because you start to take a high amount of damage. So cycle charging is always preferred when you're fighting with this unit. Another interesting thing is that Salamander is actually performs okay against artillery pieces, especially against low health ones. It can actually destroy models, so it's not the preferable type of fighting for Salamander, but if you have a good opening and not an immediate threat, you can actually start shooting at the artillery pieces. It kills artillery crew and the artillery pieces really well. And for melee fights, as I said before, never lead Salamander in sustained combat for too long, as it will lose to even the weakest melee units like Bleak Swords handily. But against other single entity units and single entity monsters, it does okay if you don't put him in a situation that he has to fight a really stronger unit than itself. It actually is able to win against Medusa in range, melee, and even in combination of the both. The only unit that you can actually compare to Ancient Salamander is Medusa. They both are range monsters. They have range attacks that can devastate tightly packed infantries. They're both decent in melee, but there are some differences that I'm gonna discuss right now. First of all, the range attack. Medusa's projectile speed is really fast. It cannot be dodged, but Salamander's can. Medusa's projectile doesn't do so well against single entity units and monsters, because all of its damage is on because of its explosion, but Salamander's that does fine. And the other one is Salamander has more range than Medusa, and it has better arc of fire, as I talked about in the start of the video. Medusa can't shoot over units, even infantry one, because of her animation. She comes down to infantry level height when shooting, so yeah, she can't shoot over infantry, and that's one of the biggest advantages that Salamander has over Medusa. Salamander has faster speed, so it can dodge easier, it can reposition faster, but Medusa has a higher health pool and better attack animations for infantry. And yeah, overall I prefer Salamander, as I have tested Medusa before, and I believe Salamander does what it's supposed to do better. The range attacks are great and actually usable, but Medusa is not. So yeah, in between them, Salamander is the better unit, hands down, in my opinion. Now for changes, this unit has received two. One of them was a nerf. At release, this unit was really strong, and so the changes were kind of big. It got reduced range, reduced explosion damage, increase in entity size, so it can take more range damage. A huge HP nerf, removed the slow debuff that was applied on contact, and 2 more ammo. The other change was really minor. It just added 3 AP damage in place of 3 base damage, and that's it. That was all the changes that this unit has received. So in conclusion, this unit is really okay, especially compared to other units in its ballpark. The range attack is good against nearly everything. You just have to make sure the units are clumped up and their formation are tight. So yeah, that's that. And the melee capabilities of this unit is fine. It's not great, but it's usable. You can actually hold other units with it. You can cycle charge or charge from the back side of the units, and they do great. And for suggestions, there's nothing more I can say that I haven't talked about in the video. Just make sure to use Salamander's range attack against tight formation infantry units, and after that maybe units that are in combat, infantry or otherwise cavalry and such. So yeah, that's it guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you can leave a like and subscribe. That would help a lot, and it would motivate me to make more videos. Okay, that's it guys. Hope to see you guys soon. Bye.